Hey folks, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, I am Julianne Hoore, the bearded bombshell of the Scottish drag scene, and today we're doing something brand new. With season 13 of Drag Race just announced with the brand new queens, I thought we'd take some time to review the fashions from the promo looks. Now I want to be absolutely clear up front that this is not a critique of the girls themselves, it's of the fashion that they're wearing. Trying to be as positive as possible. Fashion is an art on its own, especially drag as well. So I'm most interested to see what kind of references the girls are pulling out. A particular trailer to make the queens look, one of the designers of the queens says the theme was pastel pin-up, which you can see pastel was obviously the theme, but not necessarily pin-up from all of the looks. So I'm going to be a little bit more vague on that, because obviously a lot of them kind of varied from that pin-up idea, but obviously they all hit pastel theme. And we're also going to briefly look at the Instagram looks as well that was all posted on the RuPaul's Drag Race page. A lot of work goes into these looks. I'm going to try and find the designer for each look as well. If not, I'll try and find it by the time I edit the videos, just so I can shout out to them as much as possible. So much time goes into these looks. I'm going to post a video on this look which took pretty much a day, and it's just a simple dress. They had a pattern for it already. It's not easy. It's a lot of work, a lot of skill goes into these, especially when it comes to these complex looks that they've got. So please bear that in mind. Go check out the drag queens. If you're interested in design, check out the designers as well. So let's get on into it. So the first queen in the Meet the Queens video was DENALI, and their look was designed by Joshua Aponte Designs. And obviously DENALI from her Meet the Queens states that she's an ice skater, and you can clearly see the theme that they've went with is ice and snow. The designer themselves noted, which I didn't quite get straight away, was the look was inspired by Iris van Herpen. Lots of queens are inspired by Iris van Herpen. Her complex wavy designs that are kind of more abstract and loose are phenomenal, but really difficult to recreate. So the way they did that was actually really phenomenal, especially with the skirt. And I don't think the colours necessarily scream ice princess queen, like it's just weird colours of blue and purple. I don't think they were quite successful on the colouring. And then the organza, I believe from a distance looks really well, but I think when you get up close it just looks kind of messy. If they were able to kind of get the pleats more in line and took time to pin it into place, I think it would have been a lot more successful. I love the look, I love the hair in particular. I just think there's a lot of elements that could have been done slightly better. Now DENALI's Instagram dress was also designed by the same designer, Joshua Aponte, and I couldn't find this originally at first because it wasn't quite posted straight away, but I had a funny feeling it was some Mexican inspiration, and that is confirmed on the designer's page that it is inspired by her Mexican heritage. So when I was thinking it looks kind of quinceañera, I wasn't so surprised to see that. It looks fairly crafty to me in my opinion. Especially the printed parts on the skirt I'm just not loving as much as the rest of it. I love the shape, especially around the collar. The boat neck design is beautiful, it just frames her clavicles really well. And it's a smart choice not to wear a necklace on this one, because again it's just showing off her décolletage in a beautiful way, but it just seems very crafty and put together. And then my least favourite part is the blue flowers coming down from the side. Like that colour is not really replicated anywhere else, that particular shade. And also in the video they just look as if they're dying, so yeah, I would have maybe removed that. I don't think she needed that, because again it would have just showed her off her long neck even better, as if she just had the headpiece from the top. Next up we have ELLIOTT with two T's, and the main promo look outfit was designed by Calvi Marquez Jr. And this is where I found out that the theme was particularly pastel pin-up. That's what they put on as their reference, and you can totally see the pin-up reference here. However, unlike some of the other queens, they just seem very dedicated to the theme of pin-up. It's a boring pant, a fairly simple ruffle top, nothing too exciting, but I do love that the coordinated all their accessories into the same colour, from the necklace, the earrings, to the gloves, the belt, the shoes. That is phenomenal, really well done. Great choice having the hair up opposed to down, because again they've got their shoulders out, very beautiful. I just feel a very simple look, not too spectacular going on here. But it looks lovely, just not the wildest first impression. Now over to their Instagram look. I was more interested in this. It did kind of remind me of Aquaria's Evil Twin runway from season 10, even with the feather in the hair, and then of course the cheetah, or what was it? Ocelot print, Ocelot, that's what it was, and that's what I believe this is here. And this was done by All Windsor Lengo style. Feels very 80s with big shoulders, the length of the skirt, again, as well as even the accessories in the hair. The fascinator with the feather just feels very kind of like big 80s, and the big bow in the back as well. So it's really great in the silhouette kind of point of the whole thing. The necklace, I don't know, there's just something off about the necklace. I feel like it should be either like a choker. I love a choker any day. Choker, I barely know her. Or like really like larger drag jewellery, or even no jewellery at all. But I just don't feel that the necklace was quite successful on this one. However, I far prefer this look opposed to the Meet the Queens look that was the pin-up one. That was just boring. This is a little bit more interesting in terms of silhouette, and then the print, and then all the styling together. Next queen we have is GOTTMIK, the first trans male contestant on Drag Race, which was so exciting. Finally a bit more representation for our trans brothers and sisters on the show, with obviously the first trans contestant being Peppermint on season 9. Definitely is a step in the right direction. Let's just hope they continue and not just have hopefully just one token trans performer on the show. They should have more and more and mix them in a lot more. Now both of their looks were created by Diego Montoya. He's made a lot of looks for the queens, particularly the first one that I remember was Sasha Velour's red gown. I think she wore to the red carpet of the finale of her season, and also the white dress that she did the final performance for, final lip sync on the show. For GOTTMIK we have this beautiful blue cape with a bodysuit that goes into the leggings, and then with this bejeweled headpiece, which is stunning. I absolutely love the drama of this look. It is amazing. First impressions, you're just like, wow, this is stunning. There is a little bit of disconnect between the jeweled headpiece and then the bodice. I would note that the rest of the jewels are the same as the headpiece, but I feel like the jewellery could mean a bit more rose gold perhaps would matched, or the bodice was a bit silver. But honestly, that's like a small detail. They look stunning. They're phenomenal. And then for their Instagram look, immediately, I love it. For a start, the white puffs that I saw initially made me think of the Christopher Kane, I believe it was this fall 2014 collection, where he has these dresses with the white panels that have like the black trimming on the edge, and he also does the reverse. So immediately I thought of that and thought, this is phenomenal, love it already. And then it makes me think of like a fetish clown, just so with the shapes, exaggerating their shapes, from the legs, just kind of big bubble legs, big bubble arms, and then these like leather studded straps and corset. Just made me think of like a fetish clown with the makeup. I love it. I'm totally obsessed. Totally obsessed. So I really cannot wait to see what GOTTMIK brings for the rest of the show. This is a highlight already. Next up we have Joey J, who is definitely the trade of the season. If you've seen the photos going around of the queens out of drag. Damn son. Now this is their Meet the Queens, and their look was made by Alicia Winters. I'm not as much as in love with this look as I was with some of the other ones. My particular note is that I immediately went straight to his crotch, not because he's the trade of the season, but for the unfortunate placement of the pattern. I'd never seen a black period before in my life running down someone's leg, but I can say I've seen it now. I do love the fabric. I think it's a beautiful fabric. I just feel that the placement's not quite right. However, going down the leg obviously is better than going across. It will make it look taller. And I love the jacket. I love a studded jacket. I've got my own. It's kind of distressed, got buttons and chains and whatnot all over it. Love the jacket. But I feel that the lace is just like, it's another fabric on top of another fabric on top of another fabric. There's just a lot going on, so I feel like they could have got rid of the lace and it would have been a lot better and more successful look. I love the colour on them. I love how they've styled it with the chain coming from the nose. It looks great, but yeah, there's just a lot going on, a lot of different pieces. Like, so you've got the snake skin, you've got the lace, you've got the leather, you've got the studs. Just a drag queen putting more on makes sense, but in this case, it's a bit too distracting here. Next up we have the Instagram look, which was created by Colin Falvey and themselves. And my first thought was, wow, this is impressive. With all the jewels, the way they're moving, it looks phenomenal. But they kind of start to look a little bit boxy, like straight up and down with the amount of jewels that are on the bodice. I wish there was a little bit more thought to the placement of it, so having it like on the hip and on the bust, but then having it kind of like trail between the two rather than just all of it on there. It looks like they've just thrown everything at it and seen what sticks. I do think it looks great. I just feel just been a little bit more thought to the placement of the embellishment. But oh, those boots, I want those boots, and how it's all embellished together has been phenomenal. The one stick out piece though, really sticks out, is the gloves. Why do you have blue gloves on, or like lavender, or whatever they are? They don't make sense. Why would you have it at all? It just seems so out of place. Next up we have is Kimora Hall. Now this look was created by Domingo Cholula and was stoned by the House of Iman. And I love a burlesque look. This is very burlesque, sexy. The shapes created with the feathers are beautiful. I love, love, love this look. There was also a mask that was meant to go with this but didn't make the final shots for the promo that says "I am not a virus." This is obviously in reference to the racism that Asian Americans are facing with Trump saying it's the Chinese flu, the Kung flu, all these other things that he was saying. And I think this is a brilliant statement that they're able to share with the world. As an Asian queen herself, it's drag is politics, drag is political, so sharing this, it's something obviously that means a lot to her, and being an Asian queen herself, and we love to see it. This look, no critiques, I love it, I think it's phenomenal. And then their Instagram look, we have a bit of a vintage piece going on. So this is a dress and coat by Bob Mackie, and apparently the coat goes with a piece that was worn by Brooke Shields on the cover of Cosmo in 1983. I think I found the picture that that's meant to be, so I'll pop that up just now. But Kimora here looks stunning. The body is right. I love a vintage piece. It looks kind of very 20s with the coat and the shape. I love this. She looks phenomenal, phenomenal. So she's a queen who clearly knows her itty bitty body well. And again, I think I'm not a big fan of a lot of necklaces. I do, as I said, like a choker, but I like how she's just styled it with an earring here. Next up we have is KANDY MUSE, and KANDY and GOTTMIK are the only two queens that I knew before the promo was released, that I already kind of followed and knew of. KANDY MUSE obviously being part of the house of what was the House of Aja before Aja stopped doing drag, and is also Daliason's drag sister from the previous season. This look is everything. I love this look so much. It makes me think of like a pastel Mugler dress. It just, the shape of it is right with her body. The lines on it as well, just this particularly what makes me think of Mugler. And then the styling with the hair, that hair, one of my favourite colours, in terms of like a ginger auburn brown hair. As being super picky, the only thing I would do is I would make the skirt just look like an inch shorter, just to sort of really just hits her knees and no further. But honestly, probably one of my most favourite looks from the entire promo. Forgot to say as well, that look was also created by Diego Montoya as well. And next up is we have, of course, is their Instagram look, this black and white look. And this bodysuit is amazing. It is stunning, and it's created by fashion by Ray Ortiz, apologies. Again, she knows how to get her shape right. The way the black comes in the silhouette and then juts out, makes her hips look huge. Oh, stunning. My only critique that I'm not a big fan of is the hair. So she's got that bun on top, which is like a stark black and white. And then she has this ombre black grey hair. It doesn't really go white. So I don't know, there's something I would change there. Whether it just be black all the way down with maybe some white streaks perhaps is probably what I'd be thinking. Just so it really matches, because who would have their hair black and white in one section and then an ombre in the rest? It just doesn't make sense. But the ombre probably wouldn't have worked in the hair on top as well either, so it's like, Otherwise, this jumpsuit, nailed it. Next queen to the stage is LALARI. I don't know who the designer is of this particular look for the Meet the Queens. However, I'm not really that fussed about knowing, to be perfectly honest. It's not exciting at all. It's a basic bodysuit with some lines down it. I think those lines would have been a lot more successful if, again, they were kind of more contoured to her shape. You even had a black panel on the side to kind of really like nip her in a little bit. Yeah, I'm really not that fussed about this look by any stretch of the imagination. However, their Instagram look, I love this. And you're like, Julianne, it's just another bodysuit. What's so great about it? There's so much more drama here going on. So you've got the stark difference between the black and the red. The black is shiny, and you've got the red as lace. So immediately you're just drawn in. The way she also has the lace just overlapping on the thigh, I think is so beautiful. A lot of queens would just have the lace placed on top, cut through into the seam allowance, the hem of it, and that'd be it. But no, it's having the lace sitting on top and it just looks right. And then the ruffles as well, creating even more drama. Yeah, such a big fan of this one. So a hit and a miss, but you know what, we can't love everything. And it's obviously their own art. That's how they've chosen to present themselves. So I'm not going to knock them for it. I'm just going to say I wouldn't have worn it personally myself. And that goes for all my critiques where I'm being particularly maybe negative. I don't want to come across negative. I want it to be seen that this is how they've chosen. I wouldn't necessarily do that with the more boring looks from, let's say, ELLIOTT 2Ts or Miss LALARI. It's just not necessarily exciting for the first view of you as a Ru girl. It doesn't draw me in, doesn't excite me. Anyway, I digress. Next queen up we have is Olivia Lux. Now talk about drama mama, honey, this is stunning. This was created by Domenico Couture, and honestly the shapes of this are next level. The way that the suspenders go up into that skirt, wow, honestly, makes her legs look really long, but they would look even longer if the cut of the bodysuit was ever so slightly higher as well. But oh, that's the only pointer I would have for this look. The only one. The bodysuit looks amazing. Even with the suspenders, they've got the line running down again to kind of lengthen that leg all the way from the tip of her toes up to her thigh. Oh, and that hair. Damn, this is how you show up to a promo. And then we have their Instagram look as well, which I'm again a fan of. I love this look. Now at first I couldn't find a designer for this look, but it did feel familiar. And having a little look, I found she had another look by this designer, which was Abraham David Levi. And he was the one who's created this look, and he's created again many other looks for other queens, just like Diego Montoya. Now a lot of them tend to go for his iridescent looks. I'll pop up some examples just as well here. I love how this is totally different from those looks, but also still recognisable to the designer. Now the black leather looks phenomenal. The skirt, the shape of the skirt with that is just, oh, it's just right. And the way it kind of, it has like the type of peplum on top that's really like stiff and sticks out. Oh yes, that's totally right. Oddly, small distraction is the tongue of the boots just kind of like puts me off and just like, why is it so up there and like, what's going on? So that should just be a little bit lower, but that's a small detail to be picky on. And also I feel like if you're gonna stone something, like go all out, go wild, and there's just all these little itty bitty stones at the corners of the seams, I feel like it would have been a greater juxtaposition between the leather and the stones if they were like kind of bigger. I'm not saying necessarily cover the whole thing, I think that would have definitely ruined it, but just go bigger, just larger stones. Yeah, I just think that would have been a slightly bit more effective, but otherwise I am a big fan of this look and I would love to have one myself. Next up is we have the sister of Jan's sport is Rosé. Now their promote look was created by Christopher Palu, who was a contestant on Project Runway. We've seen a couple of his designs before on some queens as well, especially some of the New York queens because that's where he's based. Christopher said on his Instagram post about the look that Rosé is particularly inspired by the 80s, and looking at it you can totally see it. It's totally written all over the look, and the metallics, the shapes is all there. Particularly noted that they took inspiration from Gem and the Holograms and David Bowie, so that makes total sense here. With the shapes, the top to bottom metallic, I'm just like, oh, love. Next up is we have their Instagram look created by Casey Caldwell. And there's bits about this look that I really love, and there's bits about this look that I really do not like. So for starters, the black bodice in the middle is, in the video, is more off-putting than it is in the photo, I believe. At first I was just, it doesn't reflect the way it does in the video as it does in these photos. I actually kind of like it in this photo. It's the first time I'm seeing it, particularly in this one. But my bigger gripe is how the difference between the main body is to the arms and the legs. Now I'm not as offended by the difference between the arms, however right at the panty line it is so light and it goes into this bright red on the side. I feel with the scales it could have been more of a gradual change, especially up the side. Obviously I believe that front part should be like that if you're going to do like a lizard kind of snake look, but I feel like the scales kind of gradated up the side a little bit more just to make it a bit more cohesive. It looks like two different pieces put together, so not such a fan of it, but the way the scales are done, especially on the legs, are really effective. I love those and how they go in down to the shoe. Next up we have is Simone. This hair is stunning. It's apparently created by Gigi Good, of course, our finalist for season 12, and it is stunning. Her mug is beat. The look itself is not something I would particularly wear, but does have some obvious references. I think the most obvious reference I could think of is TLC. There's one particular look in the No Scrubs video, I can't remember who's wearing it. I'll pull up a reference image just now as well, but it's making me think of that. Again, the whole 90s culture, with a thong sitting out, showing off her midriff. It's a very particular look, but she's done it so incredibly well, and then the hair just takes it to the next level. It's wild. And now for her Instagram look that was created by Marco Squared, this ebony celebration, and with her nude bodysuit. Now I feel there's going to be a lot of people out there that will read her for not necessarily wearing body, so she's not corseted and she's not padded, but she's wearing tits. Why is she wearing tits if she's not going to do the full look? You know what I say to that is, bodies come in all shapes and sizes. Drag is not necessarily one thing. So we've got one look where she's showing off her body in that 90s look, and then we've got this one where she's showing off her body in this beautiful nude catsuit. She's celebrating her blackness as she is the ebony enchantress. Hats off to her. Speaking of hats though, that is the one thing I would change about this look. it's just a little bit lumpy just at the base of the head, and I feel what could have probably helped that is probably popping some elastic in there just to pull it in just a little bit, because it just looks a little bit frumpy dumpy. Or even like padded more hair into there, or even had a ponytail coming out. I think that would have been stunning. But yeah, take that as a reminder to celebrate the body you have and move on to the next queen, which we have is Tamisha Iman. Now, I believe Tamisha made her own outfits. I couldn't find a reference to anyone else making them. And then I seen that she did a live video as well, where she says she makes a lot of clothes and she's starting her own clothing lines. So I have a funny feeling that she will have made these looks. Now, I would say off the bat, I'm not actually a particular fan of this look. It's very simple, very basic. However, it seems very pageant, and it seems that she's a pageant queen through and through. Listening to her Meet the Queens, for example, and having a look through her Instagram and whatnot. But even though it is a fairly basic look, there's nothing particularly exciting here, it is so tailor-made. And if she has made this for herself, she knows her body so incredibly well, more better than probably any other queens that I've seen. It's flawlessly made and tailored to her, so hats off to her. And I would say the same for her Instagram look as well. You can see she's got a nude bodysuit that is beautiful. However, I was really umming and eyeing over that look. I couldn't quite tell what was putting me off straight away. But then I realised just the feathers that were as part of the look just felt as if they belonged to something else. It did seem like two looks just smashed together. The bodysuit I think is beautiful, with all the sparkles and everything, but then you've got these bright, colourful feathers that just don't seem to belong there. Now, it does give drama, it is exciting, it is a great look, but I just wasn't as thrilled with that look as compared to some other queens. So I'm a little bit cold on Tamisha at the moment. We have another season queen up next, which is Tina Burner from New York. Her look is made by Florence DeLee. Now, if that name is familiar at all to you, you've followed the drama of season 12 of unnamed queen who was disqualified. A lot of their looks was created by Florence DeLee. So I'm glad to see this time round that we're getting a designer in, hopefully making a lot of looks for Tina Burner, and we can really see this designer show off their work to the world without drama. Now, the look itself kind of refers back to what the Elliott with two T's, their designer, had said about the theme being pastel pinup. This seems pinup, but it just seems more effective to what the theme is, opposed to Elliott with two T's. Again, being a season queen, I think she really knows her body well and knits her in the right places, goes out in the pads, it looks beautiful. Not 100% sure on the hair with it, but I'm not complaining, I don't have any notes on this. I think it looks phenomenal. Now, this look for their Instagram is also made by Florence DeLee. And it's a nice dress, I'm not going to deny that, it is beautiful. However, it's something that we've definitely seen before. I think we've even seen it on RuPaul. It reminds me of a dress that she wore, I believe it was in All Stars 3. And I feel I've seen the dress elsewhere on like red carpets and other places before, so it does feel very referential. But I don't think it really pushes the box on what it is. Like, it's not revolutionary, it's not something particularly new, it's not a different take on it. So I'm not necessarily as excited by this look because I feel I've just seen it before. And then last, but certainly not least, is Utica Queen. Now, this is a look on a technical standpoint that I can totally get behind. This is beautiful. The half and half is amazing, and I genuinely think she looks fantastic. I believe she definitely made the second one, and I believe she'll have made this look for the Meet the Queens as well. The one thing that I really want to know in particular is her pattern matching. The blue side and the yellow side, these stripes match impeccably. Like, even from the ruffles on the sides of the sleeves, they match the exact same on the other side. It is fantastic, and it's so difficult to do. It's a bit more easier with a pattern of this size, fairly chunky. It feels particularly updated from, it looks clearly like a period costume, but it feels modern and it feels different, which I think can be very difficult. If something you think looks period inspired, it can so quickly turn to costume, but the campiness with the hats all piled up on top of her head, the colours, it's phenomenal. And then for her Instagram look, again, wow, this is so incredible. Now, she particularly noted the song Undo by Sanna Nielsen was inspiring her for this look and creating a trapped doll look. I have two favourite parts about this, is the hair, which is yarn with these huge pins sticking out, and then the reveal that she does with the bodice piece and reveals all the yarn inside, that her organs are all yarn, and honestly just makes me like go, wow, I cannot wait to see what they're going to make on the show, what they're going to present on the show. So I'm very excited for Utica Queen. And that's it for all of the queens. We've taken a little deep dive into the looks. Make sure to go give them all a little follow and some love ahead of the show airing. I have so many looks that I enjoyed, like Simone's 90s look, KANDY's Mugler look, both of Utica's looks. They were phenomenal. So let me know down in the comments below, what were some of your favourite looks from the promo. I aim to still keep on reviewing all the looks from the show. So if you enjoyed this and you want to catch the rest, make sure to press that subscribe button down below and ring that bell icon so you get notified every time I upload a brand new video. Make sure to press the like button if you enjoyed this video. If you want to check out more of me, make sure to do so at both Facebook and Instagram at Julianne Hoore. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. Bye folks!